Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2022-2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence. United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns, and also commemorating India's G20 presidency in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing. So before we start our session, let's take the blessings of Almighty, and we apologize for the delay.
Kurutvang kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah Shubham kurutvang kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah Shatrubuddhi vinashaya Deepajyotirnamostute Deepajyotirnamostute Shubham kurutvang kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah Shubham kurutvang kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's session. Today is National Vaccination Day in India, and it is observed on every year on March 16th. The day conveys the importance of vaccination and its role in public health. On this day, in 1995, the first dose of oral polio vaccine was given in India. Vaccination or immunization is the most effective prevention method of highly infectious diseases. According to World Health Organization, immunization is a proven tool for controlling and eliminating life-threatening infectious diseases. Vaccination is crucial to improving public health and life expectancy standards and elevating social and economic impact at the community and national levels. The practice of vaccination dates back hundreds of years. Evidence points to the Chinese employing smallpox inoculation from 1000 AD. Even the African and Turkish people practiced it before it spread to Europe and Americans. Though India had, a different kind of administering medicine and vaccine, because India has been forefront by giving Ayurveda in the form, which is part of Vedas, which is the first known medicine to the humankind, to the entire planet. Edward Jenner is considered to be the founder of vaccinology after he inoculated a 13-year-old boy with vaccine virus cowpox in 1976 and demonstrated immunity to smallpox in the West. In 1978, the first smallpox vaccine was developed, and during the 18th and 19th centuries, mass smallpox immunization led to the disease eradication in 1979. Experiments by Louis Pasteur led to the development of cholera and inactivated anthrax vaccines, and the plague vaccine was also invented in the 19th century. So between 1890 and 1950, bacterial vaccine development increased, including the BCG vaccination, while we use still today In 1923, Alexander Glennie researched the perfect method to inactivate tetanus toxin with formaldehyde, and then the same method led to the development of the diphtheria vaccine in 1926. Viral tissue culture methods developed from 1950 to 1985 led to the advent of the Salk and Sabin polio vaccines. Thanks to the mass immunization, polio is nearly eradicated in many countries globally, at least statistically. We have made massive strides in vaccinology in the past 2 decades and have seen the successful development and manufacturing of recombinant hepatitis B and seasonal influenza vaccines. So we will see even more effective vaccines with advanced technology, including therapeutic vaccines for allergies, autoimmune diseases, and addictions. So large-scale vaccine production was started with scientific knowledge developing to allow large-scale vaccine production and disease control efforts since 1940s. The MMR vaccine, measles, mumps, and rubella vaccines are combined to form MMR vaccine since 1960s. And the smallpox vaccine is discontinued after global elimination since 1972. And COVID-19 vaccinations needed to fight the COVID-19 pandemic are approved since 2020. Although India did develop a polio vaccine, the inactivated vaccine developed by Jonas Salk in the US proved more effective. However, India was one of the leaders in polio research and helped manufacture the oral polio vaccine and injectable polio vaccine. So this day is all about sharing the message that vaccination saves lives, and it is important even today. So National Vaccination Day or National Immunization Day is observed on March 16 because the first dose of oral polio vaccine was distributed in India in 1995. The World Health Organization celebrates World Immunization Week in the last week of April every year. The purpose of the week is to educate people on why it is important to vaccinate and protect people of all ages against diseases. They aim to increase trust and confidence in vaccines and routine immunization. So pull out your vaccination records and see the vaccines you have received since birth. Thanks to timely vaccinations, you will be surprised to see how safe you are born from deadly diseases. If you missed a vaccination or need one due to medical condition, consider scheduling an appointment on National Vaccination Day. The day serves as a perfect reminder. And many people spread misinformation about vaccines and are apprehensive. Dispel misinformation on social media and encourage people to seek information from reliable sources like government organizations. Vaccines save lives, more than 2.5 million each year to be precise. Some vaccines are given as shots while others are given orally. And no cases of smallpox have been recorded since 1997 statistically. And the vaccines don't have the active virus in them, they merely mimic the virus. Infants receive the first vaccination at 8 weeks, then at 12 weeks, then at 16 weeks, and so on. Vaccinations and immunization programs saves lives. They are crucial to the healthy life and uplifting people socially and economically. The development of vaccines is probably one of the greatest and most essential human achievements. National Vaccination Day celebrates the triumphs of medical science. National Vaccination Day is a perfect day and opportunity to thank researchers, scientists, and healthcare workers who ensure we are healthy, and they work tirelessly to develop the vaccines that saves our lives. Today is also commemorated as Freedom of Information Day on March 16 in US. This day ensures that the public is aware of all government's information and provided with necessary information. The information the government can hold on to may include the decisions it makes, the facts it discovers, and sometimes private information on people for surveillance purposes. Under the Freedom of Information Act, an individual can demand information they want by requesting it, and this information is provided free of cost with a minimal fee. So the Freedom of Information Act was passed on July 4th, 1996 and came into effect a year later. The date was chosen since Madison was an advocate for the freedom of data and individual rights to obtain the correct information. So this day serves as a yearly reminder of the significance of transparency within the American government and the public right to information. The right to information was the fruit of the labor of several people who dedicated their entire lives fighting for it. So Freedom of Information Day celebrates the idea of free information, giving more power and transparency to the people and making democracy stronger. Every person has an equal role in the nation's governance, which means that everyone's vote is important. The same fact applies to the freedom of information. Every citizen deserves to know the facts related to the government. This helps people make important decisions and ensure that their government and elected representatives serve them well. Today is also commemorated as this entire week is commemorated as European Wide Action Week Against Racism, in short known as EAWAR. During this time, Europeans are encouraged to combat racism and discrimination, whether from racial slurs and targeting bullying to sharing memes and content stereotyping people based on their ethnicity. The holiday is a chance to prevent and respond to discrimination, educate others on the adverse effects of racism, and share solutions on the best way to deal with incidents of racial prejudice. So EAWAR is part of No Hate Speech Movement, a youth campaign mobilizing young people to promote human rights and end hate speech online. Today is also National Panda Day, and also we celebrate the fluffiest bamboo munching bears that are source of national pride for China. There are two subspecies of panda, the giant black and white panda, and Quinling panda, a much smaller brown species of panda discovered in 1985 in the mountain ranges of the southern Shaanxi province in China. In the wilderness, giant Jain pandas live only in the remote mountain regions of China. As of 2019, due to rapidly growing population numbers, the status of pandas was upgraded from endangered species to the vulnerable species. Still, it is reported that there are less than 2,000 pandas left in the wild due to habitat loss, farming, fur hunting, and other factors. Pandas only live about 15 to 20 years in the wild, but those in captivity can live even longer. Panda bears play an important part of ecosystem of China's bamboo forests by spreading seeds and therefore growing new vegetation, which serves both humans and animals. That's why it is important to protect this panda and to its environment. One factor contributing to their endangered status is the low birth rate for the pandas. Considering that female pandas are the only fertile 2 or 3 days of the year, it makes sense that the reproduction in the wild is more difficult for this species. There are about 27 zoos worldwide that protect giant pandas and foster environments to encourage reproduction. The most important factor for preserving wild pandas is to protect their environment, especially bamboo forests, their main source of nutrition. Today is also Black Press Day, a day to support independent journalism, read, subscribe to, and support Black owned publications today. Freedom Journal hits the stands in the New York City in 1921 for nearly 200 years. Since Black publishers, writers, photographers, and editors have spoken truth to the power on issues of racism. So it commemorates the first Black newspaper, Freedom's Journal. There are different groups united by one mission. An apology, unabashed documentation of the Black experience when Black citizens has no voice. The crusading Black press shaped the foundation of landmark legislation on voting rights, desegregation, and the civil rights movement. The Black press sought to unite, educate, inspire, and uplifted this disenfranchised community. Today, we celebrate the efforts of extraordinary people who redefined journalism, and theirs is an enduring legacy that remains relevant, especially when news channels propagate singular narratives and notions of others. Today is everything you do is the right day. Thank goodness everything you do is right day follows. Yesterday was everything you think is wrong day. Today is also National Archer Day to commemorate and appreciate archers. Today is also commemorated as National Artichoke Day, a day to celebrate and chow down on these nutritious, delicious plants. Today is also commemorated as National Close the Gap Day. The campaign encourages planning of events that focus on health issues of Australia's indigenous people. Today is also National Cull Crush Day. Embrace and show off your natural, gorgeous culls on National Cull Crush Day. Though this is gender neutral, both boys and girls have curly hair. So it's a day to appreciate and show off your curly hairs. Today is also National Farm Rescuer Day. Farm rescuers help farmers by volunteering their time, talents, and financial resources. Today is also Lips Appreciation Day. So go on, bring out your best smile or pout. It's time to celebrate. Today is also commemorated as No Selfies Days. Of course, with the context of now selfies become has become a disorder. So we have to be mindful and conscious of how many times and the frequency of selfies that are being taken. Today is also commemorated as Orange and Lemons Day, so which are very beneficial for the health. So let's celebrate oranges and lemons by feasting on these citrus fruits. Today is also commemorated as Young Carers Action Day. As a caregiver, you can care for the people around you, especially the young men and women. Today is also the Boo the Pomeranian's birthday. to dedicate to the Pomeranians breed of dogs. So with this, we shall conclude today's commemoration, and we shall see you all tomorrow at the same time. So take care, good night. And those who have not registered for this today's webinar, we request you to kindly find the link in the chat box and register. And those who have not yet filled the feedback form, which has been raised in the form of polls, are requested to fill the overall feedback form. The feedback form has been active. It is in the form of polls. If you are unable to see the feedback form, you can log out and log in, and make sure you are having the latest version of Zoom app on your mobile or system. Or if you have accidentally closed, you can access it from the poll section. So it was raised long back. The poll is still active. You can fill it up. So see you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night.